There's no dominion here.
Hey, movie fans. Welcome back to The Plot Point. Today, we're diving into the future of cinema. This is our definitive guide to the top 10 most anticipated movies that are hitting screens in 2026. The hype train for 2026 is already leaving the station. If you're tired of endlessly scrolling and missing out on blockbusters, you've come to the right place. We've meticulously curated the ultimate list. This is the official The Plot Point countdown of the top 10 most anticipated movies that are absolutely essential viewing in 2026. These are the films that will dominate the box office and the conversation. Get ready.
Hide and seek? You're really gonna play that?
And kicking off our countdown at number 10 is the highly anticipated return to chaos. Ready or not to? If you enjoyed the first film's darkly comedic twist on the classic hide-and-seek game, where the stakes were literal life and death, then get ready for the sequel to raise the ante. Plot analysis. The original 2019 film introduced us to Samara Weaving's character, Sam, who married into the deadly Lou Domes family. The film was a critical success, scoring 88% on Rotten Tomatoes for its sharp satire and relentless pace. This sequel is expected to see the return of original directors Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett, ensuring the tone remains perfect. Why watch? The biggest hype centers on how they can possibly follow that explosive ending. Fans are searching to see if the Lou Domes family curse is truly broken, or if Sam will become the new villain, targeting other wealthy elites. This sequel isn't just a horror film. It's a satirical takedown of the super rich, and we are here for it.
No, God damn it, don't hurt me!
It's terrifying for you.
Clear.
This is a memorial to the dead. So, is this...
Moving up to number 9, we have the long-awaited return of one of the greatest horror franchises of all time. 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Plot analysis. This is the third installment, 28 years after the original film was directed by Danny Boyle, who returns to co-write. The original revolutionized the zombie genre, trading slow walkers for terrifying, fast-moving infected. Focus. The main cast is still unknown, but the mere involvement of Boyle and original writer Alex Garland has critics on high alert. Why watch? The massive search volume is driven by the franchise's legacy. Unlike typical zombie flicks, this series uses the rage virus to critique human nature and societal breakdown. The subtitle, The Bone Temple, suggests a sinister new location or perhaps the emergence of a new strain of the virus, making this one of the most intellectually terrifying horror films coming in 2026.
Foundations. I believe the infection can be treated. A leap into the unknown.
Uno mas, thanks.
You're Johnny Cage.
And smashing its way onto the list at number 8, we have the follow-up to the brutal martial arts fantasy, Mortal Kombat 2. The sequel finally delivers what fans demanded, the actual Mortal Kombat tournament. The first film was criticized for only being a prelude. This time, the stakes are significantly raised. Earthrealm's champions, including Sonya Blade and Liu Kang, must compete against Outworld to prevent Shao Kahn's invasion. The plot is confirmed to center entirely on the formal tournament rules and the fate of humanity. Director Simon McWoyd returns. The real excitement is the addition of Karl Urban from The Boys as the fan-favorite action star, Johnny Cage, and Martin Ford as the villainous Shao Kahn. The biggest hype is the creative team addressing the first film's pitfalls. Mortal Kombat creator Ed Boon himself promised that the sequel features at least double the number of fights, ensuring more signature fatalities and action. With Karl Urban's charismatic star power and the commitment to a bigger, more intense martial arts experience centered around the game's core lore, Mortal Kombat 2 is poised to be a definitive action blockbuster of 2026.
It's showtime.
Finish him!
Get over here!
Only the strong survive.
Next up, we're moving on to a heartwarming family film from one of the world's most beloved animation studios. Just kidding. Crashing onto our list at number 7 is the highly anticipated prequel, The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. This new installment returns to Panem, set 24 years before Katniss Everdeen's story begins. The film focuses on the devastating 50th Hunger Games, known as the Second Quarter Quell. The rules are brutal. Every district must send twice the number of tributes to the capital. This prequel centers on the origin story of District 12's future mentor, Hamish Abernathy, and how he became the last living victor before Katniss. Francis Lawrence, who helmed for previous Hunger Games films, returns to direct. The biggest news driving massive online searches is the cast. Rising star Joseph Zada takes on the pivotal role of young Hamish. More excitingly, Jennifer Lawrence, Katniss, and Josh Hutcherson, Peeta, are confirmed to return in their original roles, likely for an emotional epilogue, along with Ralph Fiennes reprising his role as the younger President Snow. Why watch? This prequel feels closer to the original trilogy than Songbirds and Snakes did, offering an essential viewing experience for fans. It shows the brutal beginning of the rebellion and explains the trauma that shaped the cynical mentor we all love.
These Hunger Games begin!
I think these games are gonna be different.
My island, and the girl who loves the sea.
Moving on to number 6, we switch gears to one of the biggest family musical events coming in 2026, the Moana live action. This is the latest in Disney's ongoing series of animated classics being reimagined in live action form. The story remains the same. A spirited teenager, Moana, teams up with the demigod Maui on a perilous adventure across the ocean to save her people. While many Disney live-action remakes have divided critics, Moana holds enormous potential due to its recent success and cultural significance. The hype is almost entirely centered on the return of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to reprise his role as the voice and now physical portrayal of Maui. The lead role of Moana will be played by newcomer Catherine Legia. Crucially, the film is being directed by Thomas Kail, the award-winning director best known for the Broadway smash hit, Hamilton. His expertise in musical storytelling ensures the classic songs remain central to the plot. Why watch? The main reason for the intense online search volume is the music. Fans are desperate to know if the film can recapture the magic of the original songs written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. The success relies heavily on the blend of Polynesian culture, breathtaking oceanic visuals, and the musical direction provided by Kail. This live-action movie is set to be the quintessential family blockbuster of 2026. Moving on, we skip right over the action and jump into a nostalgic classic at number 5, Toy Story 5. Disney Pixar is continuing the franchise, promising the return of the original beloved toys. The core plot is expected to see Woody, Buzz, and their friends navigate life with a new generation of kids and new, modern toys. The biggest critical question is how the sequel will handle the emotional closing of Toy Story 4. Pixar has a high standard to meet to justify another story. Fan searches are high for any confirmation that the central theme of enduring friendship will remain. This is where the hype hits hardest. It is now officially confirmed that Tom Hanks will return to voice Woody, and Tim Allen will reprise his iconic role as Buzz Lightyear. Furthermore, the film will be directed by Andrew Stanton, a Pixar veteran who directed Finding Nemo and co-directed A Bug's Life. Stanton's deep history with Pixar and the franchise ensures the emotional and creative direction will remain strong. Why watch? Toy Story is one of the most successful and critically acclaimed animated franchises globally, with a Rotten Tomatoes average over 97%. The promise of seeing the original team back together for one last adventure is enough to guarantee massive box office success and emotional viewing for multiple generations of fans in 2026.
You were there, two worlds colliding, and they
Hi there, I'm Lilypad. Let's play!
Moving on, we have an ambitious space opera making the jump from the small screen to the big screen at number 4, Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. This film continues the journey of Din Djarin, the titular Mandalorian, and his foundling, Grogu, immediately following the events of the Disney Plus series, replacing the planned Season 4. The story is set to focus on the duo navigating the dangerous post-Empire galaxy, hunting down Imperial remnant warlords. An unconfirmed, but highly searched, plot point suggests Grogu will discover an ancient artifact that amplifies his Force abilities, pushing him further toward his destiny as a Mandalorian Jedi. The biggest news is that the film will be directed by Jon Favreau, the creator and executive producer of the original series. Pedro Pascal officially returns as Din Djarin. The casting of cinematic legend Sigourney Weaver in an unrevealed role has critics and fans extremely excited. Why watch? Lucasfilm is betting big on the popularity of the Mando-verse, which defined the Disney Plus era. The massive online hype comes from the need for closure in Mando and Grogu's story, seeing their adventures amplified for the cinematic IMAX screen, and the excitement of a new Star Wars story that relies less on the classic Skywalker saga and more on the beloved bond between a father and son. This is a must-watch cinematic event for 2026.
Good shot, baby.
Impressive.
Kicking off our spectacular top 3 is the one we've all been waiting for, Spider-Man. Brand new day? This new installment returns to the MCU following the emotionally devastating events of No Way Home, where the entire world forgot Peter Parker. The plot will focus on Peter's isolated life as he struggles to protect a city that doesn't remember its hero, marking a return to the character's classic struggle. The film will adapt the Brand New Day comic storyline, showcasing a more street-level, mature Spider-Man who relies on his own ingenuity. This shift will see Peter ditching the high-tech Iron Man suits for a more classic, homemade costume, cementing his identity as a solo hero who has lost everything. Tom Holland is confirmed to return as Peter Parker. Crucially, the film is now rumored to be directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, Shang-Chi, promising a blend of emotional depth and spectacular martial arts action. Furthermore, there are strong rumors that Mark Ruffalo, Hulk, will make a cameo as a new, reluctant mentor figure for the isolated Peter. The potential inclusion of Tom Hardy's Venom is also highly anticipated, promising a dark, symbiotic threat. Fans are ready for a focused, emotionally grounded Spider-Man story. The immense anticipation stems from seeing Tom Holland's Peter Parker finally find his own path without the help of the Avengers, making this the most personal and potentially darkest Spider-Man film yet.
Ready?
We've reached the penultimate spot. Crashing onto our list at number 2 is the most ambitious cinematic sequel in history, Avatar: Fire and Ash. Following the massive success of The Way of Water, James Cameron is ready to expand the world of Pandora. The third film continues the conflict between the Nausicaa and the RDA, focusing on Jake Sully and Neytiri's family as they seek sanctuary. The biggest and most anticipated reveal is the introduction of a new, antagonistic Nausicaa clan, which is why the film is widely referred to as Fire and Ash. This clan, the Ash People, or Fire Nausicaa, lives in a fiery volcanic environment. Cameron has confirmed this clan embodies the darker side of the Nausicaa, providing a fresh internal conflict for Pandora and focusing on the dynamic fire and ash elements. This film will also feature a new narrator. James Cameron, the master world builder, returns to direct the third of his 5 planned films. The core cast, including Sam Worthington, Jake Sully, and Zoe Saldana, Neytiri, are all returning. Fan searches are peaking on the return of Stephen Lang as Colonel Quaritch, who is expected to have a much more complex and morally gray arc in this installment. Why watch? Cameron rarely disappoints. Avatar: Fire and Ash promises to be a visually overwhelming experience, expanding beyond the oceans and forests to introduce the stunning fire and ash ecosystems. The massive hype stems from the promise of new Nausicaa cultures and a morally complicated story that proves that not all Nausicaa are good, making it a critical next chapter in cinematic world building.
I'll kill you! I swear!
The one person who could play Victor Von Doom.
Finally, the crown at number 1 goes to the cinematic event of the century, Avengers: Doomsday. Following a massive creative shift at Marvel, this film replaces the Kang Dynasty. The plot centers on the arrival of the MCU's most iconic villain, Victor Von Doom. As a direct prelude to Secret Wars, the story will deal with multiverse collisions and the desperate assembly of a new Avengers team to stop Doom's godlike ambitions. The top search fan theory is how this version of Doom connects to the existing multiverse and whether he is a variant of a familiar hero. The announcement that broke the internet: Robert Downey Jr. officially returns to the MCU as Dr. Doom. Even more exciting, the legendary Russo brothers are returning to direct. Their involvement guarantees the massive scale, complex storytelling, and emotional stakes that fans have been craving since Endgame. This is the highest searched movie globally for 2026. RDJ's villainous turn combined with the Russos' expert direction makes Doomsday a guaranteed cultural phenomenon. It is the film that will redefine the MCU's future and set the stage for the greatest battle in superhero history. That concludes our top 10. Which 2026 blockbuster are you most hyped for? Let us know in the comments.
New mask. Same task.
If you found this video helpful or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment about which 2026 blockbuster you're waiting for. This is just the beginning of our journey on this channel, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated with everything cinema. Thank you so much for being part of my first ever video. Until next time, take care.